I haven't been on here very much, and just in the past 24 hours I've been uploading a few more videos. But the other projects that I'm working on are interesting because they have less to do with the spontaneous vlogging or visual video making that we do on YouTube, and it has the form of text. So I'm actually writing a book, and several books, but this particular one is a science fiction, and I'm going to read you an excerpt from the first chapter. Let's see here. Planet of Another Dimension. I'll open with a little kind of a tagline from the first page. There is another planet which everybody knows about because we understand that other life exists in the universe. It is somewhat similar to our own distant world. This is as far away from us as we are from it. That is the exact distance. So the name of the planet is ZargoVumRulsh'Luod. And I'm going to start with the excerpt. Wow. Should talk about those. Eukaryotes have robotic agents. And this is the political ruling body. They are tringulbingoids archetype, the bulk of the demoniac-infested clones. And the top of their pyramid of the Eukaryotes exists as a confederacy ignorant of all manner of reality, except for what they obsess with, which must be labeled as materialistic fanaticism. This Eukaryote would hope to operate as a coordinated entity, yet as it has no real head or rulership, it only lumbers along sluggishly, although it tramples all others because of its sheer brute force and gargantuan weight. It is like a ferocious, humongous amoeba. With its voracious appetite, the belly of the Eukaryote has devoured more of the biomass than any other beast prior to its advent. And yet these eukaryotes have generated their own mortal enemy into existence without any possible defense against it. We shall not yet herein name the nemesis of them. The next classification of archetypality is the worker drone, which are basically the willing slaves of the tringulbingoids. They are known as the Prokaryotic. This is plural because no singular individual exists. None truly can express any separation from this formless collective group. There is a smaller, more hairy subhumanoid form of the Prokaryotic. It is called the Prokaryotic. In one methodology, this species or genus is considered a completely different and separate level of form. Yet in the more comprehensive science of the ZargoVumRulsh'Luod's life form hierarchies, this Prokaryotic and their hairy counterparts are intertwined as an inseparable opportunistic symbiosis. Then we have the Bongbinguloids, and these are the ones who are despised by the tringulbingoids. Bongbinguloids are the archetype which has awakened to the flaws and self-destructiveness of the tringulbingoids. Yet they themselves, the bungbinguloids, have a perceived flaw also because they will not stoop to aggressively confront these tringulbingoids. Bungbinguloids seem to be lulled into their state of pacifist behavior based upon completely misleading premises, the source of which must be discussed later. There are very many archetypes. Then there is the zarphioids. These zarphioids range from bottom-feeding opportunistic feeders to the various forms of scavenging narcolepts. They have a strangely universal, yet locally ritualized authority construct. It involves a uniform performance and brandishing very dangerous, sudden killing tools. These can also be described as the deadly arsenal of ripongs. These are using individualized versions. Large-scale versions are available and utilized for the megalomaniac acts of Gar wars, even more so for general anarchy causing campaigns. The tringulbingoids have been constructing their large, solid, infestaceous colonial infrastructures a testimony to their overactive trampling of everything that was the pristine biomass, while no other archetypes seem to be outwardly obstructing their steadily increasing pace. The general superficial appearance was their arrogant supremacy generating the proverbial bungbinguloidal stupefaction. What transpires within the tringulbingoids complex abstract construction over so much of the planet is the seething of a hive of nonsensical hyperactivity. Nothing truly is accomplished except for the end result of more quicker self-destruction and loathing. It has been philosophized that the inevitable result of the tringulbingoid reign is the radical state of the ultimate nether. This is a total chaos condition of final dissolution of their existence. Tringulbingoid culture consists at its core with a majora demon, daemon, or demigod known as war, or more specifically in their supra-religious lore known as the prophectic Gar Wars, or more down-to-earth World War Mud. Gar or Mud, that could be a slight discrepancy. We will analyze this further in the chapter on their demigod. But there is something undeniable about their fateful stance. This is fact. Yet there is also something so incomplete about their perspective on it, and with utter lack of intelligible interpretation. They seem to worship their beloved war, although they have forgotten the entire purpose of the violent struggle to their own demise. The bungbinguloids offer an apt contrast towards the tringulbingoidal folly, with their own equally questionable obsession. They seem to worship a majora demon or subdemon known as the freedom. Their primal daemon is a partial aspect of the self-manifesting addiction greed ghost. There is a subdivision of these pseudo-scientific tringulbingoids which is operating under the false premise or pretenses of being able to actively build a better Birnthorpe trap. Of course, this entire notion is a ridiculous enterprise, since there is no possible way to fabricate a more elaborate trap for a Birnthorpe. Anyone using a sane, intelligent brain in the universe could predict that it's a waste of time to improve upon the perfection of simplicity. The pursuit of a better and more complicated design can only degenerate with an overflowing flood of inefficiency from an increasingly contradictory mechanical attempt to the Birnthorpe's glee. Well, these inventors carry on and on and on with their ever more outrageously asinine inventions to the deepening amusement of the silently lurking wise few. These exist as some elegant, ethereal creatures who are not even from this world. They do not belong there, and yet they are there. Answering how and why would be a chapter in its own right. We will return to this later. Well, anyhow, that's the excerpt I'm going to give you today. I get a little bit tongue-tied. I'm not exactly that prepared for a narrator, but I want to share that with you. I have copyrighted it in its present form because I'm juggling a whole bunch of written works right now, and that was the one that I think is most appropriate for my audience here on this channel. I hope that you got something out of this, and maybe you'll be interested if you want to read a book, and I'll be marketing it somehow, probably put a link here. Well, that's it for now. Talk to you later when I get some videos edited, and they're going to be wild and furious for truth.